All right, let's dive into a massive shift that's happening in marketing. Well, forever, customer management has been all about looking in the rearview mirror, analyzing what's already happened. But with AI, that's completely changing. Now it's about seeing around the corner and predicting what your customers are going to do next. So let's break down how that actually works.
So let's start with a question that probably hits a little too close to home. Does this sound familiar? It feels like overnight, customers suddenly expect you to be a mind reader, to know exactly what they want, on any channel, at any time. And if you get it wrong, the whole experience just feels broken. So what on earth changed? And maybe more importantly, how can any marketing team possibly keep up with that?
Before we get to the cool, shiny solution, we really need to understand the problem. For years, marketing has been running on a playbook that felt, safe and reliable. But let's be honest, that playbook is cracking under the pressure of a totally new kind of customer and a whole new kind of market.
And just think about how these things all feed on each other. It's a vicious cycle, right? Getting a new customer is more expensive than ever, which means keeping the ones you have is absolutely critical. But to keep them, you need to be hyper-relevant across like a dozen different channels. And in a world where products are so easily copied, that personalized experience, that becomes your only real competitive advantage.
The old way definitely gave us a sense of control, didn't it? We had these clear structures, these neat manual segments for our most valuable customers. But just look at the trade-offs. The segments are static, which means a customer stays in a box even when their behavior is screaming that they've moved on. It's slow, it's siloed between channels, and it takes a staggering amount of manual work. It just wasn't built for the speed of today.
So this brings us to the revolution. And I'm calling it a revolution for a reason. This isn't just some small upgrade or a new feature on your CRM. AI is making it possible to shift from those rigid, pre-planned campaigns to what you could almost call living, breathing customer journeys that adapt in the moment.
And I want to be super clear here. The difference we're talking about isn't some small incremental improvement. It is truly night and day. Let's take a look at what that really means for every single part of your strategy.
Okay, here's the contrast in black and white. Traditional segmentation was static, right? AI makes it dynamic and predictive. Personalization goes from these basic, clunky rules to being instantly context-aware. But look at timing. That one right there is the real game changer. We're moving from being reactive, always responding after a customer does something, to being predictive, anticipating their needs before they even realize they have them.
This quote from upGrowth, it hits the nail on the head. It captures this new reality perfectly. We're not just managing static lists of contacts anymore. We're actively evolving relationships in real time. And this isn't some nice-to-have advantage. This is the new baseline for survival and growth.
So how does this whole predictive thing actually work? It can feel a bit like magic, like a crystal ball. But it's really about a few core AI capabilities, all working together. So let's pop the hood and see what's going on inside.
It really boils down to these 5 pillars. AI models sift through millions, literally millions, of data points to create predictive segments. They group customers not by what they've done, but by what they are likely to do next. Then it personalizes their experience in real time, orchestrates the entire journey automatically, and, this is the most important part, it learns and gets smarter with every single interaction.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. That 22%, that's a real number. It's the conversion lift an e-commerce platform saw after using AI. It predicted which users were about 70% likely to buy, targeted just them with a specific offer, and boom, reaped the reward. That's the power of predicting what people want.
So what does real-time personalization actually look like? Well, it means the content on your website or in your app can literally change based on who is looking at it, where they are, what device they're on, and what they just clicked 2 seconds ago. It's all about delivering that true one-to-one relevance, instantly.
So that's the tech, and it's pretty cool. But let's get real. For any CMO or growth lead listening, the only thing that actually matters is the tangible business impact. So let's connect all these cool capabilities directly to the bottom line.
To prove this stuff works, you have to be looking at the right numbers. Forget simple things like email open rates. The real questions are you increasing customer lifetime value because your offers are more relevant? Is your churn rate dropping because you're catching at-risk customers before they even think about leaving? These are the metrics that actually prove your ROI.
Okay, this all sounds really powerful, but let's be honest, it can also sound a bit overwhelming. Where do you actually start?
Well, the good news is you don't have to boil the ocean. There's a really clear, actionable framework you can use to get started and build a cycle of continuous improvement.
And here it is. It's a simple loop. Analyze, automate, and optimize. First, you analyze your data to find the biggest opportunities and the biggest risks. Second, you automate the execution with AI tools to deliver personalization at a scale you could never, ever dream of doing manually. And third, you optimize. You constantly watch those key metrics and feed the results back into the AI to make it even smarter. It becomes a flywheel for growth.
So if you remember just one thing today, let it be this. This whole shift, it isn't about getting a slightly better system for storing contacts. It's about transforming that system from a passive database, a digital filing cabinet, into a proactive engine that actually drives business growth by anticipating what your customers need.
Look, this shift from reactive to predictive, it's not something that's coming in the future. It is happening right now. Your competitors are already doing it. So the only question left is, are you going to be leading the change, or are you going to be left trying to catch up?